Hello, I'm Maciej Mikos and you're watching World Talks. Poland will be the biggest beneficiary of the European SAVE program, that is low interest loans designed to boost the EU's security. But how will it spend the money? To talk about it, we're joined by Jerzy Kwieciński, Vice President of the Polish Chamber of Commerce. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Welcome.
So we read about nearly 140 projects the Polish government wants to allocate the funds to. What are these projects exactly?
No, in fact, we do not know the details as the full list wasn't disclosed. Only some rumors and some potential projects. We know that by far the biggest beneficiary of this program will be, the Polish defense company, PGZ. In fact, this is a holding company, as it is composed of quite a number of the defense companies like Huta Stalowa Wola, Mesco, and others. So quite a number of Polish companies will benefit from that. Although some private companies, we know that. However, the great majority of funding are to be directed to the Polish public sector, not to the private sector.
So we know which companies will benefit from the SAVE program. However, do we know what will they be building for the Polish army?
It's interesting. As you mentioned, this is not a typical program as we normally hear, from Brussels. These are not grants money. This is not a program, under the cohesion policy. Usually, this is the biggest source of funding for Poland. This is also not the recovery program from which we are benefiting. This is a special program which was designed for Europe, for some countries, because not all the countries benefiting from them. The program is in a form of loan, not in a form of grants. So the countries will have to repay this loan. However, this program has long-term financing, and this is one of the great benefits from that, because the funds will be repaid over 45 years period with 10 years grace. So from that point of view, that is very beneficial. What in fact makes this program easy is the fact that Brussels will be manage these programs like other programs which they manage. So that means that these programs will be carefully audited by the Brussels officials, and these programs have conditions. What that means, that in case the Brussels considers that some countries are not meeting these conditions, simply Brussels may stop financing. So these are, say, the negative sides of this program. However, with such a long-term financing, with grace period, with a substantial amount of money, these programs are attractive for quite a number of countries. For countries like Poland, where we cannot access the international financing at such a price like the European Union can, and this is what Brussels is doing.
I see. But still, I got no answer for you whether the money will be first used to protect the Polish skies or to build more tanks, because that's the question we all want an answer to. And given the fact that the Russian drones can so easily enter the Polish airspace, me personally, I would be very happy to learn that the priority here is for the Polish air defense.
The priorities are set by countries. It's also interesting because this program finances purchases of weapons, purchases of different defense equipment. and also the one which you mentioned. So certainly we'll be financing drones, will be financing different weapons, especially 155 millimeters, which we know that are very much needed, and indirectly, these programs will be finances investments. However, we know that development of the defense sector in Europe, but especially in Poland, is very much needed given the current circumstances, and Poland must catch up in this sector, and the defense sector will be one of the driving force in the coming years in Europe. Simply, Europe must be prepared for the war with Russia. So I hope that these funds will be directed, especially in these areas when we have really capacity, where our products are competitive. So that means that once these funds are used, Poland defense sector will be able not only to sell this equipment, to the Polish army, but will be also able to export this equipment, to other countries. So it is assumed that majority of funding will be primarily used, by the Polish companies. I must admit that I little doubt whether the Polish defense company PGZ will be, say, sufficiently prepared to consume this financing. I'm a little bit afraid that too little funds will be directed to the private sector. Relatively, our Polish defense sector, with very few good examples like WB Electronics, the Polish defense sector is not really very strong. So this program should help Polish defense sector to grow. We know that the priorities in these programs are different than they were assumed 5-10 years ago. We know that that drones, these are the most modern kinds of weapon used at the battlefield, and we also hope that Polish companies, both private and also public, will be able, due to this program, to develop their capacity in this sector.
Right. Now, these are in fact technicalities, whether all the money will go to the public sector or to the private sector. What matters now the most is whether the Polish president will sign the bill. And I'm wondering, because you present the whole situation as a win-win, right? It's the Polish taxpayer who will eventually need to pay for the loan, but the investment takes place in Poland, so it's all to the benefit of all of us. So why is this a topic of a heated political debate in Poland?
I think that, as always, this kind of situation is subject, to political debate. And on one hand, that is good. Why? Because this is the role of opposition, to indicate weaknesses in different programs, solutions, laws. And it's good that it's like that. I'm not sure whether the way the Polish government wants to implement this program is the right one. Do we need really a law for implementing this, this program? I'm not sure about that. So I would say the simplest the implementation is, the better for this. The better for this program. The most important is effectiveness, and the funds are as fast as possible directed to the sector, and that the Polish defense sector, can benefit from that. It's obvious that this program will help Polish defense sector to grow.
Jerzy Kwieciński, Vice President of the Polish Chamber of Commerce, was our guest this afternoon. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for watching, and stay with us for more interviews here on TVP World.